You can subscribe to literally everything from socks to razors to TV to, your deodorant, whatever it is. You can subscribe. So the average American right now subscribes to $219 worth of subscriptions every month. So it's a gigantic opportunity. Usually people subscribe to things because they like them a lot. They're passionate about it. They need it, those kind of things. And pickleball certainly fits that bill.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Yeah.
I have a guest today that comes from a little bit of a different twist from some of my other guests that I've done in the past. Lee Zellweger is the president of InPickleball Media, and media companies are kind of newer to pickleball. When I met Lee and I met his team, I was really fascinated with where they had come from. Lee, welcome to the Future of Pickleball.
Thank you, Paul. It's great to see you. Great to be here.
Good. Well, I have... for the people who may have heard me say this before, I came from a long background in the business of sporting goods, and media was such a huge piece of where the sports were able to grow from, their messaging, things and that. Or I thought it'd be sort of interesting for you to give us a little bit of a background as to where you came from in media before InPickleball came along.
Okay. So I've always been in media and advertising and marketing, starting with ad agencies many, many years ago, working on the AT&T account and Toyota for a long time. Then I made the move into media. At the time, it was magazine, so it was print. And that, of course, over time evolved into print and digital to a great degree, working at places like TV Guide, Reader's Digest, Better Homes and Gardens, and then I eventually came back to Reader's Digest as the publisher for print and digital. And then after that, I ended up in the TV business for a couple of years. And so I can tell you about how I ended up here, because you were part of my early story here, Paul.
By all means, just keep that one going.
Yeah, so I got a call one day from Richard Porter, who is the CEO of InPickleball, and he told me about this magazine that they were launching in this crazy thing called pickleball, which I did not know much about at the time, but sounded like a great opportunity. So I thought maybe I should go play some pickleball and learn how to play pickleball. So I went out, and like the newbie that I was, I twisted my ankle the first time I went out there with my running shoes. And then a couple of days later, I met you down in Fountain Valley at the Western Regionals, and you sold me a pair of shoes. Yeah. So that was good. I consider that my intro into pickleball.
It is interesting, Lee, from the time, I've been involved in the sport for a long time, and I've always approached things kind of from the business and the commercial side of things. And when I saw the press release that a large media organization was stepping into the pickleball space, It really lit my fire, because to me, it was an early validation and reinforcement that our sport was really something. And this goes back a couple of years. So the vision that you guys have to have had, how did that come about?
We were looking for something in the pickleball space because we were just starting to realize, like a lot of people, that there was a lot of potential there. And some of the original guys at InPickleball started looking at venues. Unfortunately, they were looking in Los Angeles, which is probably the most expensive real estate market in the world. So that didn't really make a lot of sense. And in looking around at what the opportunities were, there seemed to be a little bit of a vacuum in the media space. So we jumped into that, and You were familiar with that product, obviously. It was a beautifully done magazine, great cover stock and illustrations and photography and everything. But it also turns out that, as the market started to change, even 3 years ago, the market was a little bit older, and it's gotten significantly younger back then. So to be to be reliant on a print product versus a digital product at that time didn't really make a lot of sense. So we have since pivoted away from print and toward some other products, specifically digital.
So now, when you speak about the digital space in pickleball, we have an awful lot of streaming, and we have a lot of social media. Describe a little bit about what Into Pickleball's media presence is, and how you guys are addressing the kind of the overall product range.
So there's, I would say, certain things that we just have to have, like we need a good website. So we have really ramped up our website presence. We have a newsletter, which we hope to grow significantly over time. But the really interesting thing that we're doing in the digital space is a digital subscription program called the Into Pickleball Insider. And Paul, we live in a subscription universe now, or certainly a subscription economy. You can buy everything. You can subscribe to literally everything, from socks to razors to TV to your deodorant, whatever it is. You can subscribe. So the average American right now subscribes to $219 worth of subscriptions every month. So it's a gigantic opportunity. Usually people subscribe to things because they like them a lot. They're passionate about it. They need it, those kind of things. And pickleball certainly fits that bill. So if you'd like, I can tell you all about the InPickleball Insider, which is...
It is. But I'll tell you, if you don't mind, let me just take a quick segue. If you're watching this and you like it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Take the opportunity to follow us and see what we're doing on a regular basis with these kind of things. Because as Lee now steps into the Insider program, I have gotten a little bit of a preview on this. I think it's going to be very, very cool. So Lee, take it away. Tell us about the Insider program.
So the Into Pickleball Insider program is a membership model. So there is a annual fee. You can actually pay monthly, but there's an annual fee to join. And the benefits of doing that is you get exclusive access to exclusive content. So it is content, both articles and video. Mostly right now, the video is instructional. We have well over 100 instructional videos on the Insider site. And from a content perspective, which is, really one of the key benefits, we talk about equipment, we talk about travel. It's rules, where to play. It's also a lot about the pickleball lifestyle. So it's about recovery and health and wellness, and as I mentioned, travel. So that is an important part of it. The second, I would say, major element and benefit for consumers and pickleball players is the deals and discounts program. We work with several paddle manufacturers, a shoe manufacturer. We have recovery products. We work with other kinds of health and wellness products, and we are offering exclusive deals and discounts. So the idea there, of course, is over the course of a year of your membership, you're going to pay for your membership with all the money in deals and discounts. We have travel partners. We have all kinds of apparel partners, all kinds of different things that pickleball players need and want and spend money on. So it's very relevant for those guys.
It really is interesting, because I'm learning more about this as you're describing this, but the little bit of background I've got on what you guys are doing with it really made sense to me. Our whole sport has become a matter of really grassroots influencers. And in almost every place I go around the country, there's somebody that's the leader of the pack, and they're involved and they know what's going on. Those kind of people have to be high on your target list. Am I right in that?
Well, thank you for mentioning that, Paul. So I would say the third major benefit, and if you speak to people who have been involved in these kind of membership models before, the community itself becomes probably the most important thing, about the most important benefit of the membership. So we are launching again, it's an exclusive kind of closed group where members can interact. And we are also creating something we are calling the Kitchen Cabinet. And that is exactly who you said. They are influencers, ambassadors, leaders in the pickleball community around the country. And so when someone is, someone from California is going to Charlotte and they need a place to play, they will, they'll call somebody that, they will not call, but they will reach out to the person in Charlotte and say, hey, who should I talk to? Where should I play? Things like that. And they can get great information from someone who really knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is so exciting about that, I've been very fortunate in what I've been doing as the national brand ambassador for Selkirk for 5 years now, is I've been able to access who those people are as I travel all over the country. And it's made the experience for me just dramatically different. I think as you get this going, where we have so many people in the sport to travel, this has got to be a cool new module.
Oh, yeah. It's really great. And I think it's going to be, as I said, I think it's going to be a really important component to the into Pickleball Insider. And as a matter of fact, we, as part of the Kitchen Cabinet, we have someone that we've named as the executive chef, which you may be aware of, Paul, because that's you. So you're,
and I'm honored to be the executive chef of the Kitchen Cabinet for sure. I want to recommend to any of you that you download the Selkirk TV app on your phone. It's an insane resource. There's all kinds of coaches, teachers, podcasters. We get an opportunity to do this show on it. Please join us on Selkirk TV app. So one of the things that I think is so important in this, and all of my awareness and all of the media channels that I've been familiar with in my lifetime, it really became a matter of who are the partners, who are the sponsors, who are the people that are really involved. With the background that you guys have, how do you go about putting that team together, and who do you see as your future partnerships?
We started with a magazine, so our partners were advertisers, right? And and I think it's no secret, certainly, that the growth of pickleball has been a challenge in a way on the media side and advertising side. There are sponsors of tournaments and things like that, but and Toyota was an MLP sponsor last year. I'm not sure if they're still doing that again, but the challenge is, how do we take advantage of the fact that 90-something% of pickleball players are recreational players, and maybe they don't know about tournaments, they don't care about tournaments. So tournaments are a great way to go, because you're reaching pickleball players, whoever's watching tournaments or attending tournaments. The challenge is, where do we find those? How do we reach those other people? We have been a recreational player brand for the most part. That's really our strength, and we write for them, we edit for them, we do everything for them. But it's not easy. So for a long time, and we will still do this in the future, we still have obviously media products on the website and for newsletter. The challenge is, advertisers don't really just buy buzz, and which of course pickleball has a lot of. They need more than that to invest money, and especially big advertisers, because when you're small, big advertisers don't necessarily see a lot of value in investing in something that is not really going to give them the reach and the frequency that they really need, but really the reach. So we're still, I think, on that journey of proving that people who play pickleball are a great audience for, kind of larger categories as we start to grow. And, when I started in pickleball, I spent a lot of time knocking on doors of major advertisers. And, we had some really interesting conversations, but I don't really feel like they are quite there yet. And it's just going to take some time. It's going to take some kind of proof of concept for them that pickleball and pickleball players are a giant and, valid, valuable marketplace for them.
On that order, when you talk about the large, and I know the magnitude of the kind of partnerships that you're looking for long term, where do you think on sort of the timeline of life of pickleball, where do you think pickleball is at right now in the development stage?
Well, Only because I ask other people that know better than I do. I think we're at 10% of where we're going to be eventually, which that has a lot of meaning for us and for everybody in the business now in terms of how we do business and who we're competitive with and who we partner with, and how we uh, utilize pickleball as best as we can. And we have an expression here, which is not our expression, but we say it a lot, that the rising tide lifts all boats. And I think we're clearly still in that phase where, for all of us, it pays to have good partnerships. It pays to help others. And I will say that when I first started selling ads in this space, and I sold a lot of ads in a lot of spaces over my career, never in my career had anybody ever said, like, oh, I don't really need to do that now, but I want to support you guys. And I heard that over and over again, right? So they were spending money helping somebody grow. So, it is a very, as you know, a very special community.
So now, with your background in media that you've been describing, and I know that you've been deeply involved in the television space, which has sort of always been the historical, how much TV coverage are we getting? Describe to us a little bit from a high level where you think TV in general, network TV, is in the pickleball space.
Television is really important to the success of pickleball because, it exposes more and more people to the sport, right? So people are flipping through the channels, they're looking for something to watch, they stumble upon pickleball. And I think it also adds a level of legitimacy to the sport. And so the growth there, and this is something I truly believe, we should all be promoting pickleball on television as much as we can, because we need to drive eyeballs there. They need to become fans. And I don't think there's obviously a major sport without a major television presence. So as we grow, we need to be cognizant of that and go in that direction.
One of the things that has happened in the rocket ship ride of pickleball is we did have kind of an amazing middle of the broadcast day Stephen Colbert special that you guys were very involved with. Expand on that a little bit, because not everybody will have seen that or have remembered even what it was, because it's, I don't know, some months or a year ago. Tell us about that event.
It was actually in November of 22, so it was quite a long time ago. So Stephen Colbert, like everybody else, decided that there was something that, there was a very positive element to being involved in pickleball. And so he and his production team developed a show called Pickled, I believe it was. And it was supposed to be funny. And so, because it's Stephen Colbert, there were celebrities playing pickleball. And it was actually a 2-hour show during prime time, which has, never been done for pickleball before. It turned out it wasn't all that funny, but, it was good. It wasn't very good because the celebrities, there were 1 or 2 out of the 10 that were playing that were probably, decent. But, it still delivered like 2.3 million viewers, which is a gigantic number for pickleball. So, we like to say around here, if they can do $2.3 million on a show that really wasn't as good as it should have been, then imagine what we can do with a fantastic show and fantastic tournaments and things like that.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. On the order of the influencers club, one of the things that I have begun to see, and it's happened around pickleball quite a bit, but is the amount of activity there is in destination travel and travel as a sport. Is that an area that you guys are going to focus on?
Yes, we are really excited about the travel space. In fact, we are doing our first Into Pickleball travel trip in October to Turks and Caicos. We have some great instructors, Rick Witzkin and Romy Maxey are going to be joining us. And the good news is we are fully subscribed after a few weeks of it being on the market. So we're very happy about that. And we think there's a lot of potential in travel.
Cool. I just came back from a trip that I'd been on for a couple of weeks in Europe and kind of seeing what the scene is there. And there's an awful lot of talk going on about what's going on in Asia, particularly in India and China.
Yeah.
and even now Australia. One of the things that I got people responding to as I was in Europe was they'd like to come to America to see Disneyland of pickleball, if you will. Is
Yes.
that anything that you guys would consider working on?
Yes, that is really something that I don't know if we're quite there yet, but we'll have to figure out how to do that because that's going to be a somewhat different model for us. But we would love to do that. And again, we think that there's a small but growing untapped market for that. So yes, we would like
So
to.
the thing that we've been talking about a number of things, and I should have said this earlier. Why don't you tell our viewers where do they find Into Pickleball Media, and how do they get in touch with you? And if they're interested in hooking up with future events, how do they communicate with you?
So I should mention that in order to join the Into Pickleball Insider, you can go to intopickleball.com. There will be ads and information. There's a little button that says Join Insider on the site, which you should do. In order to get in touch with me, my name is Lee Zellweger. I'm at intopickleball.com as well in the contact page. Or you can look me up on LinkedIn, whatever makes sense for anybody who wants to get in touch about partnering and learning more about what we do.
Very cool. So one of the things we've sort of been talking about the business side of what Into Pickleball Media is all about. Let's talk about your sort of personal journey, because I've been around it since sort of the beginning. What is your take on the magic that is pickleball?
Well, yes, you were. As I said, you sold me my first pair of actual pickleball shoes. It saved my ankles. So it is an amazing sport, and I do think it lives up to everything that everybody says about it. It's healthy, obviously. It's great exercise. And I think perhaps more important, the social aspects, the social health that we all need, spending time with people that we like. It's an amazing sport for that. It is joyful. It's really win or lose. I think, you come off the court smiling, which I think is probably fairly unique to a lot of to pickleball versus other sports. So, we really, and I say me personally too, just thinking it's amazing, an amazing way for people to enjoy themselves and really have a good time, meet new people, and it's just really a fantastic sport to participate in.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. In my involvement in the sport, really my whole social existence really today is about pickleball. Regardless of where I travel around the country, I'm pretty well connected. If I'm not well connected, I'm amazed how fast it happens. And I think the more we can repeat that for the average person who, whether they're traveling, they're on a family reunion, they're going somewhere, and they want to have pickleball be part of it, I think that your program could be really fabulous. I envision those influencers saying, gee, could I find my counterpart in where I'm going on my family reunion this summer? And how might that contribute to my vacation? I think the insider programs could be fabulous.
Yeah. So much of pickleball is really about community, and I think we're just going to enhance that, for our members. So, we're really looking forward to it. It has officially launched on May 2nd or so. So again, go to intopickleball.com.
Very nice. Now, Lee, one of the things that I always do with my guests is I ask them, you've now been around the space in a significant way for a while. What do you see in the future of pickleball? How do you think this may go?
Well, I do think, and this kind of relates to the 10% answer a little while ago, but I think we're in our infancy. So there's still so much potential. And that is on the business side. That's for growth of players. And that is also, for all of the very positive aspects of pickleball to grow and affect more people over time. So I really feel like it's quite an amazing opportunity for everybody. And, I know you introduced a lot of people to the sport, as I try to do too. And it is really remarkable. People play once and they're hooked, and just one more one more of the many millions of enthusiastic, positive people that play pickleball. So
Yeah, we need to get all the addicts that we can. I like having my friends be addicted. That's
right.
sort of a cool module.
Yeah.
Well, Lee, thank you very much for the time you've spent with us today. I think this has been just great. I really look forward to kind of seeing where Into Pickleball Media goes. You guys have such an amazing team behind you that are running this organization. Let's stay in touch, and as other things come up, let's get back together on the podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, Lee Zellweger, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for having me.